Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Joffrey Noodle Legs here today with something a little bit different. We're doing a top five, but not my top five. I'm going to do a top five with the lad Lemonlord, and he's going to go through with you his five, not necessarily his favourite, not all-time favourites, but five slasher movies he highly recommends and loves. So here we are. Here's Lemonlord. Here he is. He's not really that small. I'm just sitting really forward. All right.
I'm not that small, no.
So there we go. All right. So we're going to go through sort of five slasher movies that he really loves. We were going to do like five of his favourite horrors, but when discussing it with him, he was sort of like struggling to find five because he likes so many, and they're all from sort of like different sort of genres. And I mean, his favourite horror film is Hellraiser, which isn't actually a slasher film. So we're going to go into five slashers. We'll just pick a genre today, and we'll go through five of those that you really, really like. So at number five, he's picked.
Number five, I have picked Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, let's get a bit forward then so I can show it to you. Jeepers Creepers. Now this is a sort of monster slasher film. This one's a little bit different than your normal sort of slasher film, where normal slasher films are pretty much high school kids or whatever being stalked by a killer, and this one's a little bit different because it's sort of like, it kind of like, it's a monster and a creature, but it's also you can class it as like a road trip sort of horror sort of film. So why have you picked this one out? What is it you like about it?
I picked this one out because, we recently went to that HorrorCon and we met the actor who portrays the Creeper, but also I like it because it's in that sort of period of time of horror films where the sort of slasher resurge started happening because of Scream.
Yeah.
And I like it because it was also different, because it was portraying the antagonist as like a standard slasher, but then you eventually find out later in the film he's actually a monster.
Yeah, the big reveal in the film, because first of all you see really is this really creepy van, which is, to me, would be a killer on its own.
Yeah.
It's really creepy, but then late into the film, the main sort of our hero, Jason Long,
Yes,
something like that.
oh.
He finds the home where this creature's been hiding all his bodies, and he falls down in there, and he finds like this layer of all like body parts where he's been, I don't know, doing all sort of horrible things to his body, and this creature discovers that they found his lair, so the chase is on, and it led to sequels, didn't it? Did you like them as well?
The second one was alright, but the third one was horrible, and we don't talk about Reborn.
Yeah, Reborn doesn't have the same guy playing the Creeper in it. Jonathan Breck played the Creeper in 1, 2 and 3, and that's who Mark was referring to, because we went to the HorrorCon and he met him there, got him to have a good chat with him, and he signed his copy, which is awesome. So that's cool. So number five, he's picked Jeepers Creepers. So what's your number four pick?
My number four is Halloween Kills.
Halloween Kills. I love that he's picked this because it's controversial, because a lot of people don't like the sort of these modern Halloweens. I mean, Halloween is one of those franchises where it's a love and hate sort of relationship. Like, I love this trilogy, and I love the originals, but I can't stand the Rob Zombie ones. I just think they don't bring nothing to the actual franchise. That's why I don't like them. But this does bring something. It's a separate story. It's a continuation, really, from the other films. It's not like a remake of the 1, 2 and 3. They are a continuation, and if you look at it like that, they're a lot more enjoyable. Why did you pick Halloween Kills?
Because I feel like it was trying something different, especially from the first sort of, what was it, reboot that they tried with the 2018 one. It felt a bit slow for me, but I feel like with Halloween Kills, they tried to make it a bit more gory, I suppose, and certainly with the kills.
Yeah, it was a lot more brutal.
And I liked quite a few of the couple of scenes, especially with the firefighter scene where he tried to kill all those at the beginning of the film, and when they sort of ripped off his mask, well, he took off his mask and you could somewhat see his face, and they all tried to gang up on him, but he ended up killing them all.
Yeah, I agree. I think there was some iconic moments in there, especially the mask thing, because it's like we've not seen his face, and to see him sort of like mask off, and the way they aged him as well, so he wasn't like a young killer. He's actually aged, so that sort of showed that it was a continuation with the story, and I loved that. And I think that gets missed a lot, because I think that was really clever and really well done, and it was so cool to sort of like see him as almost like human. But as soon as he put that mask back on, you know, he returns to his sort of evil ways. He almost feeds from that mask.
It's also like, I've noticed with Michael Myers, when he puts on that mask, it's like that thing where if you're like a kid and you have like some sort of comfort, like coping kind of thing, like where you try to hide yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what's with Michael. It's like a comfort zone for him, so he ends up trying to be something that he wanted to be.
You're right, because he was so messed up as a kid, and he didn't speak or anything because he killed his sister, didn't he, and stuff like that. He really messed up. So when he put this mask on, it allowed him to actually be this evil entity, what he was. But obviously when he was just normal, he obviously thought that weakens him a lot. And with the mask on, he can hide behind that, and it gives him the strength to go out and do his evil deeds. And I think that's a really valid point. And yes, I love the beginning of the film with the fireman, because he just walks out the house and there's like all these firemen there, and he just kills the whole fire brigade. It's really, really cool, and it's still got Jamie Lee Curtis in it, which is amazing. Great choice. I love that choice from him, because everyone would have gone with Halloween 1978, which is amazing.
Yeah.
It's an incredible film, but I like the second one more than the original. I think that's better, The Hospital. But, yeah, this really good choice. Well done. So, number 3, what would you pick as your third?
Number 3 is The Burning. The
Burning. An old video nasty here in the UK. This is a camp, not I had to a camp. It's a camp film, like Friday the 13th, that American sort of summer camp. That's what I should have just said when it's summer camp. And it's about a caretaker called Cropsey, who the kids at the camp play a horrible prank on him in his hut, and he gets burnt, really badly burnt, but he survives it, and he goes back, I think probably the following year, and starts killing off kids in the camp. In fact, I think it's years on, because I think the main one of the sort of camp leaders remembers it, and he was one of the kids from back in the day. So it's like years after that incident, he's gone back to get his revenge. Very similar to Friday the 13th, where Jason drowns and etc. So it's quite a similar thing, but I think this is an amazing choice. What do you like about The Burning?
Obviously, it tries to be like Friday the 13th, and it's obviously came out around the same time. And I think it also came out when Friday the 13th was also, like, they sort of came out at the exact same time. And obviously Friday the 13th did a better job. And they were planning on to do, like, sequels with The Burning, but it never happened because it didn't get popular enough.
Yeah, I think I've read or heard that this was written before Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
They actually wrote it before, but no film company took it on because they didn't really like it. But because Friday the 13th come out, and it was so successful for Paramount, that they were looking for other films to put out, and they probably thought, oh, what about that film, that The Burning film? It was probably a different title back then, but because a lot of these films have their title changes. But yeah, it's an amazing film. It is really gory, and it's a lot more sort of like I believe Tom Savini did the effects in this as well. He did the effects in the Friday the 13th film and Friday the 13th Part 3. I think he did the effects in this as well. But it's a really cool film. I think this has a lot more atmosphere than Friday the 13th, because in Friday the 13th, it's the counsellors that are in that he's after. But in this, it's the kids. A bit like Sleepaway Camp, where the kids are the victims, not the sort of camp leaders, not the elder people. It's the kids that they're actually after, and it's really really cool. Really enjoyed that film. Amazing choice, and it was a video nasty here in the UK. So that's really cool. That's 3 down, 2 more to go. And your second favourite then?
My second favourite, it has to be a 90s classic that started the whole resurge of slashers. Scream.
Yep, Scream. This is one of the ones by Wes Craven, or the Last House on the Left and Nightmare on Elm Street, all these sort of great films. He wrote this one, and to me, it was almost like his sort of tribute to all those 80s slashers that had gone before it. And we had a real, I think the 80s got so many slashers that it sort of faded away, and then in the 90s this sort of rebooted it back up, and then we had quite a few like Urban Legend, and I Know You Did Last Summer, and Valentine, and all these sort of slashers came out. But yeah, this one started that sort of boom. What do you like about the movie?
I like the killer, mainly because, one, it could be anyone, not just a man, it could be a woman, and so it could be like your best friend, or it could be, I don't know, it could be literally anyone, and not knowing who it could be behind that facade is quite scary compared to like something that's, that's right in front of you,
Yeah.
that you know who it is.
Yeah, but what do you like about this one above the others in that franchise?
Well, I like the fact that it tried to portray 2 killers rather than 1 killer, as like the same killer, which was really cool. It's got that 90s feel to it, and obviously I grew up in the 90s, and so I relate to a lot of like the music and the culture of the time. So it was a sort of, what do you call it, a throwback.
Yeah, so it's a part of your movie sort of history. I mean, to me, what I love about this film is the beginning, the bit with what's her name? Because you think she's going to be throughout the whole film, famous Drew Barrymore. Yeah, Drew Barrymore, and they kill her off pretty much in the first sort of 15 minutes of the film. And the way that was set out, I love that sort of house invasion, sort of stalking. That was so cool, and I thought it was quite original. And because it was sort of like talked about old films as well, like Friday the 13th and Halloween and all this sort of thing, because there's the questions that Ghostface was asking.
I mean, I also like near the end of the film where that guy was trying to say like, oh, what you shouldn't do, because it's like supposed to be like a horror film.
Yeah, when they're at some party and they're talking about the do's and don'ts in a horror film. Don't have sex, whatever, don't be black or anything like this, or to survive you have to be the innocent sort of girl sort of thing. So that was quite cool. There's a lot of references and shout out in this film for other sort of horror movies, which I really like. And it's a great, great film. It's a classic to me. Really cool film. Scream. Great choice there from them. And also number one. Number one. So what is your recommendation for the best sort of slasher movie?
Well, this one was actually kind of unexpected for me because it's made by the mind of Clive Barker, who did, well, Hellraiser and that other film.
Nightbreed.
Nightbreed. And it's also a very unique kind of slasher. It's almost like a ghost slasher who... Sort
of supernatural slasher.
Basically, unlike other slashers where they basically go to you, it's more like you have to call them so they come to you, which is very different. And It's like Bloody Mary.
You're up from Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my pick is Candyman.
Candyman. Yeah, that is an unusual pick because a lot of people would be saying, "Is that a slasher?" To me, I'll class it as a slasher. It's a supernatural slasher because again, you don't know who the killer is. No one knows who the killer is. It's like an urban legend.
Yeah.
An urban legend's a slasher film, so it's all based on an urban legend about saying his name 5 times. If you say it 5 times, he'll come and get you. And it's about a woman reporter, Helen. Helen. She's a reporter, and her friend go to investigate the killings around this sort of like run-down sort of like neighbourhood. I think it's in New York. It looks like the sort of Bronx area, to be honest. And they go to investigate it, and they find out about this urban legend called the Candyman, which is played by Tony Todd.
Yep.
He's got. I was going to say Terry Todd then.
Terry Todd.
Todd Terry. Tony Todd, and he's got like a hook for it. And there's some real connection with the bees as well, which is. I think the connection with the bees is because of honey and candies, sweets, and the sweet things like. And I kind of got that, but there's a connection with the bees in the film.
Yeah,
as well.
That's how he died.
Yeah, but the Candyman thing, I think, gone from because he obviously gave kids sweets to lure them, and end up being he's a child killer pretty much. But yeah, it's a really, really cool film, and it's a slasher because, like all slasher films, there's people being killed, but no one knows who the killer is. It's like a slasher is pretty much a whodunit. And obviously in Italy you had the giallo films, which were similar, but they were more thriller based. They were more like a thriller than horror. They were thriller with horror elements. Now these are like horrors with thriller elements. So that's the kind of difference between them both. But yeah, Candyman. It's a really, really it's a strange choice, but he loves the film, and I know he does. But it is a really cracking film.
I mean, the reason why I like it is because it's so different from most slashers.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go for this.
No, but there is about 20 or 30 Friday the 13th clones and Friday the 13th films, but Candyman is nothing like it. It's on its own. It has spawned three other films. There's 4 of them in the franchise, and they're all really good. They're all really, really cool, especially the last one, which some people say it's a remake. It's not. It's a continuation, because I think the lad in that was the young boy in this one, or the baby, or whatever.
They basically did like a Halloween 2018, but with Candyman, where it's like they basically got rid of 2 and 3, and they just continued on from the first one instead.
Yeah, so and a lot of people got confused thinking it's a remake, but it's not. It's a continuation of the story, and it's brilliant. And that is Lemonlord's 5 recommendations of some great slasher films, which are really, really cool films. So there we go. Bye, Lemonlord.
Bye.
So he's picked out. You've got Jeepers Creepers. You've got Halloween Kills. You've got The Burning. You've got Scream. And you've got Candyman. Fantastic choices. Any of you guys seen those films? If you have, let me know down below what you think of them. And what amazing choice it is. And I like it because it's diverse. Me, you know what I would have gone with. You know it would have been Pieces, The Burning, Friday the 13th. I'd have been so obvious. Maybe Children of the Corn and stuff like that. So I would have been a lot more obvious. But I like the way that Lemonlord's gone into the complete, looked at not just your obvious slashers, but gone down the route. What else is in, like Candyman, like Jeepers Creepers, that can be classed as in their own different sort of genres as well as slasher films. But really, really cool choices. Guys, check out some horror channels before the next video. Check out Horror Hands, Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Designs, Pizzawell. I'm the Ice Lord. The baby's here. Cat watches horror movies. Sarah of Horror, here he comes. Oh, Sullivan of Horror, here he is. And a massive shout out to our special guest today, my lad Lemonlord. Thanks very much, and another big shout out to our other special guest today, who's giving me a wash, and that's Sullivan. So guys, till next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I see you all soon.